All right, if you own your home and you're over 60, listen up, because the rules of the game literally just changed while you weren't looking. Congress has been unusually active this month, and what they've done, and honestly what they're pushing through right now, is going to genuinely surprise you. In today's Explainer, we're unpacking exactly what happened, what's coming down the pike, and the critical actions you absolutely must take to protect your wealth. Let's get right into it.
So we actually have to start with the number 18. Why? Because exactly 18 days ago, on July 11, 2026, this massive piece of legislation called the 21st Century Road to Housing Act quietly became the law of the land. I mean, there was no major announcement, no big press tour, it just happened.
Now, you're probably asking yourself, why on earth did no one tell me about this, right? How does a bill affecting the single largest asset most seniors own just fly completely under the radar? Well, it actually comes down to a constitutional quirk. There was no televised signing ceremony in the Oval Office because President Trump neither signed nor vetoed the bill within the 10-day constitutional window. So automatically, boom, it becomes law. Most of the country completely missed this. But let me tell you, the implications for your home's value and your future options are very, very real.
Now, what's really interesting here is the specific target of this new law. While the act rolls up dozens of housing proposals, the absolute most important provision restricts large institutional investors. We're talking about those massive private equity firms and hedge funds. It stops them from just endlessly expanding their single-family home portfolios. You know the story. Over the past decade, these corporate giants have been gobbling up starter homes everywhere, squeezing out individual buyers and creating this massive supply shortage. And if you're a senior thinking about downsizing, that shortage is a nightmare. There just haven't been any affordable homes to move into. So by putting a leash on private equity, this law acts as a structural intervention. It's designed to gradually free up housing supply, paving a much smoother road for your downsizing plans over the next couple of years.
All right, moving into Section 1, beating the lock-in effect. To understand the next major piece of legislation working its way through Congress right now, that's House Resolution 964, better known as the Nest Egg Protection Act. We really have to talk about something housing economists call the lock-in effect. Look, by 2025, baby boomers hit this incredible 80% homeownership rate. Huge, right? But a massive chunk of that generation is basically trapped in their current larger homes. Why? Well, it's because our current tax laws were written way back in 1997. Under those old rules, you can only exclude up to $250,000 in profit from capital gains tax if you're single, or $500,000 if you're married. Now, back in 97, the average U.S. home was, about $172,000? Today, the Federal Reserve puts that average at over $514,000. And if you're in states like California or New York, forget about it. It's way higher. The tax hit for selling is just so punishing that seniors simply stay put. They're locked in.
Let's actually look at the stark reality of the math for a typical single senior in 2026. Say you bought your home back in 1995 for $180,000. Today, it's worth $650,000. That is a capital gain of $470,000. Under current law, as a single filer, you only get to exclude $250,000 of that, which leaves a whopping $220,000 completely exposed to a 15% capital gains tax. That means you'd owe a staggering $33,000 in taxes just for selling the home you've lived in for 30 years. It's crazy. But, and here's the kicker, under the proposed Nest Egg Protection Act, that $33,000 tax burden drops all the way down to zero. Literally zero.
The mechanics of this bill are brilliantly simple, honestly. It temporarily doubles the capital gains tax exclusion, specifically for homeowners aged 65 and older. If this passes, that exclusion jumps to $500,000 for single filers and a massive $1 million for married couples applying to primary residences sold between 2027 and 2030. So, if you're even casually considering selling in the near future, you need to watch this bill like a hawk. It fundamentally rewrites the financial calculus of your retirement for sure.
Okay, let's dive into Section 2. The house-rich, cash-poor problem. Shifting gears from the federal level down to the state level, we hit an immediate pressing threat to your wealth, the crushing weight of local property taxes. We're witnessing a massive squeeze on fixed-income seniors right now. On one hand, the 2026 Social Security cost of living adjustment is a pretty meager 2.5%, but at the exact same time, driven by those soaring home valuations we were just talking about, property tax bills in a lot of counties are skyrocketing by 10 to 20%. This creates what researchers call the house-rich, cash-poor problem. You might have immense equity sitting in your long-held home, but your fixed income just can't keep pace with that mounting annual tax bill arriving in your mailbox. To fight this, we're starting to see some incredibly aggressive state-level proposals, and Pennsylvania is really leading the charge here. Back in April 2026, State Senator Doug Mastriano introduced legislation that wouldn't just lower property taxes, it would completely eliminate them. But it comes with 3 strict criteria. First, you've got to be 75 or older. Second, you must have lived in Pennsylvania continuously for 10 years. And third, you must have owned and occupied your current home for at least 10 years. If you meet those 3 rules, your property tax bill drops to permanently zero.
The rationale behind this is pretty uncompromising. As Senator Mastriano put it, no senior who has paid taxes for decades should have to fear losing their home due to rising property taxes. Really, it's about fundamental fairness. Now, while this specific bill is still in the co-sponsorship process, it hasn't received a floor vote yet, it definitely represents the most aggressive, ambitious state-level property tax relief proposal currently active anywhere in the country.
Which brings us to Section 3, State Benefits Available Right Now. And this brilliantly illustrates a really important point. While Pennsylvania is fighting for future relief, we need to talk about the immediate, actionable reality. There are massive benefits already in place right now across the country that you might be completely missing out on. For instance, in Texas, voters recently raised the additional over 65 homestead exemption from $10,000 up to a massive $60,000. In New York, they expanded the senior citizens homeowners exemption to exempt up to 65% of a home's assessed value, and they used a deliberately broad statewide income threshold of $500,000 just to make sure most seniors qualify. And over in New Jersey, the Stay in J program is providing up to $6,500 in direct relief, right alongside their Senior Freeze program that literally locks in your property tax assessment. So the crucial point is this, and I really need you to hear this loud and clear. Not a single one of these benefits is automatic. Not the Texas exemption, not the New York expansion, not the New Jersey freeze. You must apply. The overwhelming majority of these massive, life-changing tax savings just go completely unclaimed every single year, simply because seniors assume the county will automatically update their bill. Trust me, they won't. And the deadlines for these applications almost always fall in the late summer or early fall.
All right, let's move to Section 4, your required action plan.
Understanding all this legislation is great, but taking action is what actually protects your bank account. I want you to execute these 4 steps this week. Ready? Step 1. Go grab your most recent property tax bill and find the phone number on it. Step 2. Call your county assessor's office during business hours this week. Step 3. Ask them directly, point blank, what senior property tax exemptions, freezes, or relief programs apply to my specific address, and what is the deadline to apply for each one. And step 4, write those dates down and file your applications before the window closes. July and August is the critical, active window for locking in these protections for next year. Seriously, do not wait on this.
The legislative landscape for senior homeowners is shifting incredibly fast right now. The 21st Century Road to Housing Act is already law. The Nest Egg Protection Act could very soon double your capital gains exclusion, and property tax relief programs are literally just sitting there waiting for you to claim them. So I'll leave you with this question. Are you going to leave your hard-earned home equity on the table for the government to take, or will you take action today? Take control of your financial future, get on the phone with your assessor this week, and please share this explainer with every single homeowner you know who is over 60. They need this information just as much as you do.